So in this topic we will be discussing mainly about the cells of the immune system, and according to your syllabus these are the topics that you have to study: T and B lymphocytes, natural killer cell, macrophages, plasma cell and memory cell, and we will discuss them one by one. First we will see what are the cells. These are the main type of cells which I have already told you. Then let's understand what is a T lymphocyte. Basically, lymphocyte is one type of WBC. There are different types of WBC like lymphocyte, macromonocyte, neutrophil, eosinophil and basophil. 5 different types of WBC are there. And among them, one type of WBC is known by the name lymphocyte. Now, if you take the lymphocyte, there are 3 different type of 3 or 4 different type of lymphocytes. I will show you the picture of this. Here you can see that these are the different types of lymphocyte. See, these are the different types of lymphocyte. Here you can see that. Let's see. This is a very good example of. Show you this here. See, this picture will show you a different type of lymphocyte that you can see here. Okay, so blood will be divided into different type of cell, and here you can see that the T lymphocyte is there, B lymphocyte is there, natural killer cells are there. Now, among the T lymphocyte, the peculiarity of the T lymphocyte is that they are undergoing their maturation or complete development in the thymus gland, whereas B lymphocyte will be maturing in the bone marrow. So that is how we are differentiating between T cell or T lymphocyte and B lymphocyte. If it is undergoing maturation in the bone marrow, we call it by the name B lymphocyte. On the other hand, if it is undergoing maturation in the thymus gland, we call it by the name T lymphocyte. So here you can see there are 3 different types of T lymphocyte: helper T cell, cytotoxic T cell and regulatory T cell. And each will be also known by other name. For example, in the case of helper T cell, they are also known by the name CD4 plus cell, then cytotoxic CD8, and regulatory cells are also known by the TREX. So coming to the first one, there is helper T cell. These cells activate other immune cell by releasing cytokines. So this is how they are working. There is a type of biochemical substance known as cytokine. They help in stimulating the immunity. So the main function of T lymphocyte or helper T cell is that they will be stimulating other immune cell by releasing a substance known by the name cytokine. So it is by cytokine they are controlling or influencing the immunity, and they are crucial or means important for adaptive immune response and assist B cells in producing antibody. So B cells' main function is that they will be concerned with the producing antibody. So helper T cell also help B cell in producing antibody. So there is another function. Now second type of T lymphocyte is known as a cytotoxic cell. They are also known by the name CD4 cell. These cells directly kill infected or cancerous cell. So that is the main function. Cyto means cell, toxic means poisonous or harmful. So these are directly killing the infected or cancerous cell. That is a function of cytotoxic T cell. They recognize antigens presented by major histocompatibility complex, class 1 molecule, that is on the surface of every cell. On the surface of every cell, there will be a separate type of protein. I will show you the picture of that. And these type of proteins are known by the name MHC, class 1 proteins. Here you can see that on the surface of every cell you can find that there will be a certain type of molecules. These are known by the name MHC class 1 molecule. So most of the time this cytotoxic T cell will be identifying the cancerous cell by attaching with these MHC class 1 molecules on the surface of that is on the outer surface of every infected cell or every cancerous cell, we will be finding a molecule like this. So this cytotoxic T cell have the ability of identifying these molecules. So it is by identifying this molecule they understand that this is a cancerous cell or this is an infected cell and they will be killing them. So third type is known as a regulatory T cell. These help maintain immune tolerance and prevent autoimmune response by suppressing excessive immune reaction. Last class we were discussing about autoimmunity, how autoimmunity is producing different kind of difficulties for human being. But in the case of regulatory T cells, they will be maintaining the help in maintaining the immune tolerance and prevent autoimmune response, unnecessary autoimmune response in our body. So that is the function of regulatory T cell. So coming to T lymphocyte, remember that they are produced and they are undergoing their maturation in thymus gland. That is why they are known as a T lymphocyte or simply T cell. Three different types. One is helper T cell. They are mainly assisting B cell in producing antibody. Second is cytotoxic, will be killing the cancerous cell. And third type is known as a regulatory T cell. They are mainly responsible for maintaining immune tolerance. Now, where these cells are? T cells originate from hemopoietic. Hemopoietic means blood cell forming. That's the meaning of the word. Hemopoietic stem cell in the bone marrow and migrate to thymus. Almost all the cells are actually produced in bone marrow. But in the case of B cell, they are produced in the bone marrow, undergoing maturation also in the bone marrow. But here they are produced from the bone marrow cell and they will be moving to thymus gland where they will be undergoing maturation. So it is based on the cytomaturation we are differentiating B cell and T cell. Now in the thymus they undergo selection process to ensure that they can recognize self-MHC molecule while being tolerant to self-antigen. That is on the cell of every cell there is an MHC molecule. And for example, if you take a skin cell or if you take a nasal cell, if you take a cell in our mouth, epithelial cell, on the surface of every cell there will be MHC molecule. And the capacity of this cell is that MHC molecules on the surface of each cell. See, these are the MHC molecule. I'll show you. These are the MHC. See, on the surface of every cell, here you can see that on the surface of every cell there will be certain MHC molecule, and this MHC molecule are present in every living cell. So immune system has the capacity of identifying this MHC molecule. For example, our own MHC molecule, and it will be different from the MHC molecule of another person. So that difference is always there. So immune system has the capacity to identify or recognize self-MHC molecule from non-self MHC molecule. So that is another capacity of the T lymphocyte. Now coming to the second one, what is B lymphocyte? What is B lymphocyte? They are produced in the bone marrow, maturing also in the bone marrow. So B cells are primarily responsible for humoral immunity, which involve production of antibodies. So wherever you hear the term humoral, just remember that it is antibody concern. So humoral immunity means simply antibody mediated or antibody controlled immunity. When activated, they differentiate into plasma cell that produce antibody specific to pathogen. So how these B cells are actually working is that main function of B cell is to produce antibody. They are not directly producing antibody. What they do, B cells will be first converted into plasma cell. It is the plasma cell which is responsible for producing the antibody. So B cell converted into plasma cell will be producing antibody. Now here you can see two types of B cell. One is plasma cell, other is memory B cell. These are the effector B cell that secrete large volume of antibody. They arise after B cell activation and proliferation. So for example, when B cells are activated or stimulated, many of the B cell will be converted into plasma cell, and this plasma cell will be producing the antibodies in large number. Second differentiation is into memory B cell. After the initial immune support, some of the B cell become memory cell, allowing for faster and stronger response upon re-exposure of the same. That is, the function of the memory cell is that they are mainly responsible for keeping memory of an infection, which we call as an immune memory or immunological memory. So in the case of B lymphocyte, there are two different types, plasma cell and memory cell. Plasma cells are the primary antibody producing cell. Function of the memory cell is to keep a memory of the infection, keep a memory of the nature of the virus or nature of the bacteria which has infected us. So this is how we are differentiating B cell into memory cell as well as plasma cell. Now coming to the development, B cell develop from hematopoietic stem cell in the bone marrow. And they undergo a process of somatic hypermutation and affinity maturation to improve their antibody response. So whereas in the case of thymus cell, they are T cell, they are maturing in the thymus gland. Here they will be undergoing their development and maturation in the bone marrow cell itself. So that is the difference between B cell and T cell. Now come to the third type, that is the natural killer cell. Natural killer cells are also a kind of lymphocyte. These NK cell or natural killer cell play a crucial or important role in the immune response. They can recognize and kill virus infected cell. So for example, if there is a cell which are infected by virus, these cells can identify and destroy them, and tumor cell without prior sensitization. So that is one advantage. They do this by detecting stress-induced ligands on the infected and malignant cell. So main function of the natural cell is to kill the tumor cell or cancerous cell which have been different from other normal cell. So these natural killer cells will be identifying the virus infected cell as well as the tumor cell, and they will be killing them. Natural killer cell release cytotoxic granules containing perforin and granzymes. There are two ends, one is perforin, second is granzymes, leading to apoptosis of the target or destruction of the target cell. They also secrete cytokines like interferon gamma, which enhance immune. So there are two mechanisms. One by releasing certain enzymes like perforin and granzymes, which will be destroying the target cell. Second method is that they will be releasing interferon gamma, which will be improving the immune response of the body. So this is the mechanism by which natural killer cell will be influencing the immunity of our body. Now coming to the development of natural killer cell. Natural killer cell arise from common lymphoid progenitor on the bone marrow and undergo maturation in various signs like bone marrow and lymph cell. So as far as the development of natural killer cells are concerned, they are also produced in the bone marrow, but they will be maturing in different, maybe some are maturing in bone marrow, some are maturing in the lymph nodes of the lymphatic system. So that is how the natural killer cell. So main function of the natural killer cell is that to destroy virus cell and tumor cell. So virus infected cell and tumor, to destroy this natural is the main function of natural killer cell, simply known as NK cell. Now we have another type which is known as a macrophages. So in the case of macrophages, you can see that macrophages are phagocytic cells. Phagocytes, you know what is phagocytosis, and they will be engulfing or swallowing and digesting the pathogens and their cellular debris. They also play a key role in antigen presentation to T cell, bridging the innate and adaptive immune response. So macrophages, their main function is to eat or feed on the pathogen. That is how the phagocytosis will be taking place. So here you can see that the phagocytosis of the cell. See, in the case of phagocytosis, what they are doing, you might have studied about this one in your high school or +2 classes. Phagocytosis means cells will be simply swallowing a bacteria or virus and destroying them. That process is known as a phagocytosis. So here the phagocytosis will be engulfing mainly the macrophages. Macrophages are cells which are capable of phagocytosis. They will be feeding on the pathogen or microorganism and also on the cellular debris. Debris means remains, and they play an important role in antigen presentation to T cell. How? Because one important function of this macrophages is that they will be identifying cell and presenting. I will show you a picture of that. See here you can see that antigen presentation to the T cell. This is one important function of the, so this is the T cell. Here you can see that there will be some picture antigen present. This is known as antigen presenting cell. Here maybe here you can see that. See, this is one of the phagocytes, and these cells will be presenting the antigen before the see here you can see these are the macrophages, and some of the cells will be presenting the antigen before the T cell for its destruction. Such types of cells are known as antigen presenting cell. So that is one function of the macrophages. Then activation. Macrophages can be activated by various stimuli including pathogens, cytokines and immune complexes. Immune complex means a complex found between an antigen and antibody. Activated macrophage can adopt different functional states such as Mi and M2. These are the two different type of functional state that we can find. Now coming to the development, they are also originating from a monocyte. So you know what are monocyte. So monocyte is a one type of WBC. They are developing from monocyte, which are derived from the hematopoietic stem cell in the bone marrow. They circulate in the blood and differentiate into macrophages upon entering. So to some extent macrophages are actually developing from monocyte by a special kind of monocyte. So this is an idea regarding what are macrophages and what are natural killer cell. Then we have plasma cell. Plasma cell we have already discussed what is a plasma cell. Here I think here we have discussed what is a plasma cell. The main function of the plasma cell is that they are primarily concerned with producing antibodies. So plasma cells are antibody secreting cell derived from activated B cell. So antibody producing. So whenever you hear the term plasma cell, always think that they are producing antibody. Antibody producing cell, and they are developing from a type of B cell, and they are responsible for releasing large quantities of antibody. So those cells which are producing thousands of antibodies at a time are known as a plasma cell, and providing humoral. Humoral means antibody mediated or antibody controlled immunity is known as a humoral immunity. And their characteristic feature, they typically are large cell with abundant cytoplasm filled with the rough endoplasmic reticulum, which is necessary for antibody production. They can produce up to 2000 antibodies per second. So that is the characteristics of plasma cell. Mainly is filled with a lot of there will be a lot of endoplasmic reticulum, and this endoplasmic reticulum are helping in the production of 2000 antibodies per second. So that is how much antibodies are actually produced by the plasma cell. Then coming to the lifespan of the plasma cell, they can live for few days to several months. That is the depending on the type of immune response and the environment. So plasma cell is actually a kind of B cell. B cell specialized for antibody production. That is what plasma cells are meaning, and their life is up to several days to several months they can last. Now finally we have one more type of cell, that is memory cell. From the term memory, remember it is immunological memory. Cells offering immunological memory or memory of an infection is known as a memory cell. Both B cell and T cell can differentiate into memory cell after initial immune response. Memory T cell can persist for years. For example, you have a chicken pox. Even after 10 years or 20 years or 40 years or 50 years, your body still have the immunity against chicken pox once you had that immunity infection. So that kind of immunity is known as immunological memory. Our body has a capacity of remembering about our past infection or former infection, and they do this with the help of certain cells known as memory cell. Function of this memory cell is that they will be keeping a memory of the nature of the virus or nature of the bacteria which has attacked us or infected us in several years back. So that kind of situation is known as a memory cell. They will be both the B cells are acting as B cell and T cell can be memory cell. But the main point is that they will remain in your blood for several years. So that is the main advantage. And when memory cells are activated, for example, chicken pox. At the age of 5, you had a chicken pox. Then you had the second infection. Then after 50 years, at the age of 55, you had an attack of chicken pox. Then what happened? The body, the memory cells in your body will suddenly multiply and convert it into plasma cell. And they will be producing large number of antibodies at a time, and body will be quickly suppressing the second chicken pox infection. So this is how the memory cells are acting. Memory cell quickly produce antibody upon re-exposure of the same antigen or same virus, while memory T cell rapidly expand and differentiate into effector T cell. Effector T cells are mainly responsible for antibody production, and in the case of memory T cell, they are critical for long-lasting immunity. We have getting lifelong immunity against certain infection because of the presence of memory T cell and memory B cell, and they allow immune system to respond more effectively and efficiently to second infection. So during the time of first infection, your body will be producing antibody. For example, that may take sometimes 1 week or 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks. But during the second attack, your body will be containing or controlling the disease within 1 or 2 days. Why? Because your body has this memory B cell. Memory cells will be immediately converted into plasma cell and producing thousands of antibodies per second. So this is the mechanism of memory cell, and this phenomena is known as immunological memory. So this is an idea about the different type of cells like memory cell, plasma cell, then you have a natural killer cell. So then you have also different types of B lymphocyte and also different type of T lymphocyte.